how are you? I am Sive. This is Stories in Sive. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a vlog. We are going to follow me with my reading progress for the next couple of days. It is evening time at the moment. I'm just in from work, and so I'm going to talk to you about the books that I'm going to read. The first book is my current read, and that is Bitter Blue by Kristen Kishore, and this book is a YA fantasy story, part of the Graceling Realm series, and I started it a day or two ago, and I've gotten pretty far in it with the progress I had made the day before. I am now at page 370 or so. I'm probably 2/3 of the way through this book and really enjoying it. So I always like to have an audiobook going into my days off, so this is going to be my audiobook pickup. The next book is Sorrowland by River Solomon, and this is a personal 5-star prediction. I think that this book is a potential 5-star. So this is a fantasy mixed with horror, and it's kind of giving me some cult-ish vibes, and there's a forest setting, so a little bit of a good book to kind of put me in that fall mood. I only have a couple of days left on my library loan of this, and I'm on page like 10, so I'm gonna be putting in some work to try and get this book, if not all the way read, mostly read. Just wanted to say hi, welcome to the vlog, and introduce the books that I'm going to be reading. So yeah, I will see you later. Bye. Hello friends, so it is a little bit later in the evening. I've just made some mac and cheese and I'm gonna eat some dinner, but I did get to page 50 in Sorrowland, so I just wanted to touch base a little bit and tell you some thoughts. So like I said, this book is a horror/fantasy story, and we are following our main character Vern, and Vern has just left a compound, which is essentially, it's a cult called the Canaanites, and they are a biblical based group that are very isolated from the outside world. It's a very typical kind of like setup of a group who is not part of any sort of technological developments or whatever. So she leaves when she is very heavily pregnant at 15 years old, and she runs away into the adjacent woods, which is next to the compound, and she goes into the woods and gives birth to her twins. So what I've been reading so far is about her experience living there in the woods, and she is there for a year. That's kind of where I'm at, and so she has her 2 sons, Howling and Feral, and they are about a year old now. And throughout this entire ordeal that she has spent in this forest, she is being chased by an unidentified man, also living in the woods, as in he is sleeping there, hunting from there, he's leaving her signs that he's been there, he's being super creepy, and she just calls him the Fiend. And so now we've kind of gotten to a point that there is some interaction with Vern and the outside world. So I just wanted to check in and give kind of a little bit of an update. I'm liking it a lot so far. It's a very vivid book. Descriptions are very visceral and very vivid. I'm not totally sure how to describe it, because I could say gross, but gross has a negative connotation, but the descriptions about like regular life of like her giving birth, her baby's needing to poop and pee that Solomon is giving is very vivid. It's almost a little bit animalistic, like it's very like intimate writing, and I'm enjoying it so much. I enjoyed that style of writing in The Deep, which is the other book I read by River Solomon. Reading that book was actually one of the reasons why this is a 5-star prediction for me, why it's like kind of one of my forefront of my anticipated releases that I want to read. So I'm enjoying myself so far. I'm at page 50. I have some food and I'm gonna eat and continue on reading. Hello, good morning. It is now the morning of my day off, and I just wanted to let you know kind of where I got to last night with Sorrowland. I was able to read another 30 or so pages. I got to page 80, and I've only read like 10 pages this morning. I have some coffee in my book. in a couple hours to myself, and I'm just gonna read and continue to get into this book. I was watching back the check-in that I filmed last night, and I kind of just want to clarify a little bit. So the word I think I was looking for, I said the word like intimate, and I think I was trying to say it is a very instinct-based writing. It's focused very much on this like undomesticated animalistic nature of a human going through this experience that Vern is going through. The writing is just so beautiful and descriptive. It's very tangible. Like I almost feel that I can like touch what she's touching and like feel what she's feeling. And that's just exceptional. I use the word vivid. I still agree with that. The reading experience is very vivid. We are now where I'm at, what I read last night and this morning. We're at a 3-year mark now. So she, Vern, and her babies have been living in the woods for 3 years. To be as vague as possible, now there is a confrontation. Yes, it is extremely interesting. It's pretty fast-paced. I think I was expecting something a little bit more like emotion-based and like exploration of community and stuff like that, but it's very like plot-based. It's very progressing. Like 3 years have passed in this amount of reading, so it's very quick, which I like. It's refreshing. I was not expecting that, so I'm definitely enjoying myself. So we're just gonna settle in, read some this morning, and I will check back with you when I have some sort of update. Hello. Okay, so it is now later in the evening. It's around dinner time, and as you can see, I went to my friend's pool and on the lake in the afternoon, and I was able to read a little bit. So I'm now at around page 150 in Sorrowland, and I'm still really enjoying it. I don't have so much of a check-in as far as like new content or new thoughts, but I just wanted to say, hey, I'm back home, I'm showered, and I'm about to get back to reading. Hello, good morning. I have been reading. Last night I finished Bitter Blue by Kristen Cashore, which is the 3rd book in the Graceling Realm series. I haven't talked about this book very much in this video. So this book is part of this series, and Graceling follows a couple characters that are introduced, and this book follows one of those characters. So I've just finished this, and the ending was so good. I was not expecting some characters to come into play. It was like a nod to the earlier stories, which I have loved. So this book follows our main character, Bitter Blue. She's a new queen in her country, and she came to power when her father was murdered. In this land, there is an ability called Grace, and if you are graced, there are random abilities that you have, and each person who is graced has a different one. So our main character, Bitter Blue, who has just come into power after her father's reign, her father was graced with basically what is, in so many words, mind control. He would make people do things and make them forget reality. So his name was Lek, and he ruled over this country for 35 years and was eventually killed because people figured out what he was doing. And so Bitter Blue is now a part of this royal family and is come into power and is trying to lead her country out of what has been a horrible ordeal, trying to do reparations, trying to repair what has been lost and what has been broken. And so this is also a little bit more politically driven than some of the earlier books. The earlier books have politics in it, but she is in a place of power and a lot of her plotline has to do with relationships with advisors. It was just very interesting. I enjoy Kristen Kishore's writing. It was nice to be back in kind of a YA style writing, and I love these books so much. I was pleased to wrap this book up relatively quickly, and it was a great story. So that was Bitter Blue. I finished this last night and it was great. Now, I am about halfway through Sorrowland. We have a setting change. The plot is consistently keeping pace as far as it kind of went in really guns blazing and a lot happens and you find out a lot. The information that the reader is being fed is a very consistent pace, but that pace is accelerated. So we haven't let up. Lots of stuff going on. Her kids are now 4, and she's attempting to get into contact with somebody that she trusts. All the while, her body is undergoing something very clearly. Something's happening. She is getting really sick. So I might have mentioned this earlier, but she is coming into these abilities of essentially being very, very strong. And she is convinced that that has to do with the drugs or the water or the air or something that was in the Blessed Acres of Cain when she was there. She was somehow drugged, she doesn't know how, and now abilities are coming through. The bad part about this is while that is happening, her body is also suffering from these abilities. She is in immense amount of pain and it is gradually getting worse. She is now starting to get to the point that her limbs are failing her, her back is failing her. She's trying to get into contact with somebody who would be able to help her. That's where we're at right now. Like I said, I'm about halfway through. I have a couple of plans today, so I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to read, but I'm at page 160 or so, so I'm pretty pleased with that, and I will check back in with you when I have an update. All right, ladies and gents, I finished Sorrowland, and I have thoughts. I finished it a few days ago, and I was able to return my library book back on time, and that is a big win for me. So my thoughts, is this 5-star prediction ring true? Yes. I gave it 5 stars. I'm so happy about that. Oh my goodness. I enjoyed so many aspects about this book. The writing was beautiful. The main character was strong and complex and very layered and well written and well thought out. Her relationships that she made were believable, and all in all culminated to a harrowing and very tense final scenes. I was able to see a little bit of flashback. They definitely kind of made it clear whenever there was switching timelines, showing something from the past and making it relevant to the current storyline. I was totally gripped. It was thrilling. It was very intense. There is some body horror and such. It was creative, intuitive. It definitely had instinct to it, and I talked a lot about the intimate style of writing, all of which culminated to an amazing reading experience. So it was amazing. I highly recommend you guys read this if any of the aspects about the book that I've talked about so far appeal to you, and I'm very, very pleased. My 5-star predictions are always based on things that I like and authors that I like or writing that I like and themes that I like, but it is also ultimately rare to get a 5-star prediction that is actually a 5-star, and I am so excited about it. I will be recommending this book to anybody and everybody. I was very happy to give this book 5 stars. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for joining me on this video, and if you like content like this and wrap-ups, vlogs, recommendations, and other book content like that, feel free to subscribe. We'd love to have you, and thank you again so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.